Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time.
Shout out to our feral venerator of Soirain, Lurks. A few episodes ago, we decided to queer up two of the Forsaken, Balthamel and Lanfear, to see how it might have changed their stories and that of the series. We told you it'd be a sporadic series, so today we're bringing you part 2 of Queering the Forsaken. Last time it was the horny historian and the crazy ex-girlfriend, and today we cover the Artsy Emo and the DudeBro Athlete, Asmodean and Sammael.
I'm curious about your intro. Who was the horny historian?
Wasn't Balthamel a historian?
Yeah, he studied like ancient cultures and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Do I know something that nobody else knows? And this is...
Bitch, I just backed you up, so no.
Okay.
It's something Camille doesn't know. Just take the win.
There's many things that I don't know.
Still, I will take this as a win. James knows everything about the show. About the series, so that's a given. But I know something that another co-host doesn't know about the series. That is a first. I want it on the record, and I am proud of myself.
There's plenty that you know that I don't know, so I don't know why you're suddenly excited by that one. So let's talk about Asmodean. Some background on Asmodean. So it's one... I'm assuming everyone knows Asmodean that's going to be listening to us. It's the one, the musician that keeps hanging out with Rand. It's very easy to make him queer because we're kind of already considering him queer. Just to give a bit of background, so in the Age of Legends, it's already one of the weaker male Forsaken, but since sexism is still stronger than Lanfear, but that's another issue.
The weakest man is stronger than the strongest woman. We all know this. That's biology.
Fuck that.
Just basic biology, right?
Yeah, sure. So we know that his mother was an Aes Sedai, and the reason he joined the Shadow is because he had a lot of potential as a musician and felt like he never really fulfilled that potential. Like, he was still very famous. He got 3 names, and everyone with 3 names were like big famous, and still he's like, oh, that's not enough.
Yeah, I'm like, he's like Beethoven. What are you not liking, dude?
Yeah, like, how is a character who turned to the dark side so he could do more art, how is that not canonically gay?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It makes no sense.
It's legit homophobic.
Yeah.
Like, I want the immortality so I can be perfect at my art. Yeah, okay, dude, that's very specific.
I mean, he also did some like super shady shit, though.
He did a few bad things.
He did, yes.
I like how I was reading the Wat Wiki, and it was like, he didn't do too many terrible things, except he took all of the other musicians that he viewed as competition and either blinded them or made them incapable of producing their art.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then he severed his mother from the One Power and threw it to a Murdral for sport. And I'm like, oh yeah, except for those things, he's pretty chill.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So in my notes, I have #Asmodean did nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, he did some maiming and killing, but he didn't do any torture. Like, he didn't torture his competition, he just maimed them. And do we know what his mother was like? Like, do we really know whether or not she was just as bad or worse? Maybe she had it coming,
Are we really blaming the victim on Nynaeve's internet? Is that what's happening?
For my boy Asmodean, he wouldn't do it if he didn't have a good reason,
For all we know, she was a turf.
Maybe she was a turf.
Jesus.
Wow.
Maybe she was a turf, and Asmodean was like friends with Sammael, who's like trans in Kat and Camille's timeline. And Asmodean was like, no, Mom, this is my friend, and he's trans, and she dead named Sammael. And Asmodean was like, okay, well, now you're fade food.
Wow.
Also, like, him severing his mother and feeding her to Mildral is just like the epitome of, or the pinnacle of gay boy with mommy issues.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, also known as a serial killer.
Yeah, but like you can have mommy issue without killing your mom.
And to be fair, the impression I got was not necessarily the Fade ate her. It was more rapey than anything.
Yes, probably.
For sport, yeah.
Because that's the Fade's thing, which is super bad.
Yeah, so Asmodean is probably the easiest Forsaken to queer. I know you, Matt, already talked about that so much, but feel free to keep going.
Mm-hmm. For listeners, bear with me. I ran today and I have runner's lungs right now, which means I'm a bit wheezy. But basically, I think it wouldn't change the story too much, except obviously we would get a kissing scene between Rand and Asmodean and maybe a sexual awakening for Rand.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really would like to see come from that is a redemption arc from Asmodean, because we don't get a lot of redemption. I don't think we get any redemption arcs other than like maybe one character does one good thing before they die, but it doesn't really balance. They don't like become wholly good. They don't recant the shadow in a way that I would say constitutes an entire redemption arc.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Asmodean would be like probably the best candidate for that, because he's an actual bad guy and not just someone who's like, oh yeah, I did something for the shadow, but it wasn't that bad, but now I'm on the good side or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think we get hints of that throughout the series. Like,
yes, he killed his or he fed his mother to a Trolloc, but like, you know, you can come back from that. You can be redeemed.
This Asmo apologist.
I know.
This Asmo apologist behavior. Yeah, just as a disclaimer, I am currently quite sick, and so I sound like I'm a frog right now, so I apologize for my voice.
It sounds like you said asshole apologist, and honestly, that's also not far from the truth.
Yeah, it still fits. Either way, it works. It works either way.
Works a bit too well.
But yeah, we've covered this in queering the heroes, because I always think that Rand, Min, and Avienda would make a good polycule type of situation.
You said Rand, Min, and Avienda, but I'm assuming you meant Asmodean among that, or...
Yeah, whatever I meant to say, Camille.
I don't know what you meant to say, but...
I meant to say Asmodean. Wait, did I say Elaine, Min, and Avienda? Oh, God.
You said Rand, Min, and Avienda.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I meant to say Rand, Asmodean, Min, Avienda, and let's just throw Logain in there. You know?
Just for fun. Just for funsies.
They have plenty of love to share.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Asmodean's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and it's true that a redemption arc can be so interesting to play around. Like there's always this tension of whether he's going to stay good, whether he's going to fall back to the dark, whether like, and it's true that it's a tension that's never got played with in the books.
Yeah.
As far as I remember.
Yeah.
And could be very interesting. I'm wondering, maybe that could be something that the show could play around with, because even without talking about queering Asmodean, even if, okay, honestly, it wouldn't be a reach to have Asmodean being gay and flirting with Rand, even if it may not lead to anywhere, but like flirt is something that you can always do. And having, a tease of redemption would be interesting. But then it's frustrating, because if he dies without getting a redemption, then frustrating storyline.
It'd be a little boring. I would like Ayosha and Harry Styles, who plays Asmodean, kiss.
Oh my God.
Just to like really piss off the fan, the originalists. It would really irk the originalists.
Matt mentioned Harry Styles, and pretty much all of his co-hosts just sign or were very disappointed. We expect it from you.
Yeah, we know.
Still,
Look, I'm not a Harry stan, so
I don't know. I want him to be like slightly older. I want Yosha to be into that daddy dick.
Oh God.
No, I don't want Asmodean to be too old, because he can't teach an old dog new tricks. So he'd have to be like, okay, well, he's 3,000 years old, but still.
Yes. Either way, he's old.
Anyways, I would like, queer or not, I would like Asmodean to have a redemption arc in the show, because it's just so basic in a fantasy where you have good versus evil to have corruption arcs and not redemption arcs.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really see many corruption arcs in the story.
True.
That's true. I guess we don't get any of either, really, huh? We don't get redemption or corruption.
We have betrayal.
We have betrayal, yeah.
All of the Forsaken were
Yeah.
like corrupted, but that didn't happen on screen. That happened
Exactly.
thousands of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be so interesting to see. So
Yes.
Yeah.
on the TV show, if we get to see like some of the Forsaken, how they got there,
Right. If we get to see like their history, yeah,
that would be fascinating.
as a cold open or something, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any actual corruption or redemption portrayals like
No.
in this series. Like, spoiler alert,
No.
you find out Varen is Black Aja, but also at the same time you find out that she's good
Yes.
and she's not what you would consider evil.
Yeah.
And all that happened before the series started. So she's always been a
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote dark friend, but she's also always been a double agent.
Right.
I think her warder is actually kind of the only person that I know, like he was a dark friend willingly and then wanted to get out, and that's why he bonded Varen.
And that's why he bonded.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Ingtar.
Yeah, Ingtar,
Oh, Ingtar. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. I forgot about him.
okay, so we have one good example.
Yeah.
1.5. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it would be really, really cool in the show to be able to see, like, Asmodean starting to see that the world isn't so bad after all.
Mm-hmm.
But he really is just, like, the sad emo kid in the corner of the room. Like, legit.
100%.
That's what he does.
Like I said in the other episode, through the dragon's dick, we are all cleansed.
No,
That's all it takes to convert Asmodean.
Asmodean.
Not gonna be today's title.
I was just going to say, we can't use that again.
How about through the Yoshapine, we are all cleansed?
No.
How about we not?
About we don't sexualize actors.
Yes, I know.
Oh, yes.
Though, if you watch Just Friends, there is some Yosha booty in there.
We'll have a talk about that.
I know.
I love how in your notes here, you literally put, like, yeah, but what if she deserved to die? Like, I'm going back to that, and I'm just, what if she, right? What if she deserved it?
Mm-hmm.
What if she was homophobic? What if Asmodean came out to her and she was like, "You're a little faggot," and
I mean, you can have toxic parents. It
Yeah.
exists.
You don't have to kill them or, like, ruin them and have them raped.
Yeah.
That's not appropriate.
It's still bad.
okay, it's a little bad that she was. Maybe it would have been better if he had just killed her.
Yeah, you know what? That would have been better.
You know what? It would have been better. Yeah. I would agree with that.
Way better than being raped by a Fade, honestly.
Yeah. That would have been better.
I mean, tons of Roman emperors did worse.
Okay.
Yeah, Nero tried to kill his mom 3 or 4 times.
Well,
Yeah.
the romance, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure is there some French kings that also did that? Maybe, maybe not.
That's that's monarchy in general, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's monarchies in general.
It just tickled me that they were like, he wasn't that bad, but he did do all of these things.
I can appreciate that Asmodean is very much 0 to 100. Like, he's either, super chill and just wants to play his music, or he's, doing the most. And that's him.
It's all about perspective.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. We are comparing Asmodean to other Forsaken. And
This is true.
I mean, Sammael making a farm for, a human farm for Trollocs. I mean,
Yeah.
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 I can fix Asmodean. I can't fix Balthamel.
Why?
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Out of the two, I think you would have more luck with Asmodean. Because I think he's... I was going to say he's a pretty chill guy, but also I keep coming back to the mother of it all.
Yeah.
And he's maybe not so chill.
We don't know the history, but at the same time,
Was that a test from the dark? Because I'm assuming, if you want to join the dark, if you want to join the dark one, is they're not going to say, oh, yeah, sure, you can join, you don't have anything to do. Maybe that was, maybe you had a test to do
Yeah.
in order to join the shadow, and that was the test he got.
Could be. Yeah.
Maybe.
It still sucks.
It still sucks.
A lot.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't be the first story when this happens.
This is true.
Yeah.
Should we, as we have clearly concluded that Asmodean did nothing wrong, should we move on to Sammael?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
What do we know of Sammael?
Sammael,
We know he doesn't like his height.
Yes.
even though he's still above average.
Yes.
He's above average. He's like around 6 foot, I think.
Yeah.
He just thought that being tall means that people take you seriously.
I guess so.
And because he wasn't the tallest, he wasn't being taken the most seriously.
Yeah.
And I feel like fandom has exaggerated this to the point that, honestly, I forget about him. He's one of the Forsakens I forget about constantly, and the only thing I remember about him is that he's short.
Right.
And the realization that he's not actually short, he just feels short, it's crazy to me.
Yeah. I don't know where the joke came from. I don't remember actually how much his height is mentioned in the books at all, or if it became a meme in the fandom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume he's like dwarf height. I assume he's like Gimli.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember how the whole fandom was analyzing, I think it was episode 5, when you get into Stepin's room and you see the different statues of the Forsaken, and you have one that is a bit shorter. And so everyone was like, this is Sammael, Sammael is probably taller than like Asmodean, for example. But
Yeah.
So we have like two ways of querying Sammael. Kat and Camille had some ideas, and I also had.
You can start with yours.
Okay, yeah. And one of my ideas is, I think, applies to both, and I'll get to that in a second because it's something that the show should do anyways. But anyway, I think Sammael being gay would make a lot of sense. He's a hyper-masculine dude, and there are a lot of those in the real world who are gay, and also a lot of them are drawn in by like hyper-masculinity and, internalized homophobia.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Sammael just gives off that energy. I had a friend who, for many years, he goes to the gym a lot. He's very super masculine. He's like the mask for mask type, and not in like an ironic or funny way, but like legit, like we'll call other gay men like fags and stuff like that if they are not masculine enough. And that just seems like total. If Sammael was gay, that would totally be like who he is. Obsessed with this toxic idea of masculinity. So like, and because a lot of when we queer the Forsaken, we like tend to give them love interests. But I think in this timeline, Lews Therin wouldn't be like a spurned lover, but I think Sammael would just be jealous of him in a way that runs a lot deeper than just, oh, Lews Therin is better at this or that. Like it would be like a legit jealousy thing that a lot of gay men have.
And also like Sammael, like what dragged him to the shadow is that he wanted to be the supreme command of the force of the light, and did not get the job. And I think it's Lews Therin who got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, he thought he was stronger and more capable than Lews Therin, so he was pissed off. So he went to the shadow and betrayed the light. So there's really this competitive aspect of him. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, it like the jealousy and the malevolence of a lot of gay men, like these hypermasculine gay men who compare themselves constantly to others. Like he like my former friend like has an insanely jealous streak with other gay men. Like if you like when we lived together, I could not display any of my little awards from law school because it just triggered him so badly, and he would like get really jealous and like put that up. I don't want to see it. So like, and that's just like big Sammael energy.
Yeah.
So in addition to like being jealous of Lews Therin's skills and being chosen as commander of the light, he would view Lews Therin as more handsome and in a way that threatens him. And the last thing I'll talk about, which the show needs to do, and which can also apply to Kat and Camille's version of Sammael, is give him a fucking death scene. Like, give him an actual death scene, because it was. Yeah. There are so many amazing, and I know that this is going to be shitting on RJ's writing, so I'm going to preface it with RJ wrote so many great death scenes. He wrote a lot of fantastic battle scenes.
Yes.
but with 14 books, you're going to have some flubs. And Sammael's death scene was so insignificant that RJ had to clarify that he was actually dead because, like,
Yeah.
you see Sammael in the distance and like Mashadar's coming at him, and then Rand's like, oh, there's a shiny thing in this other direction. Let's look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sammael's gone, and Thanos are like, if there's no body, he's not dead. And RJ's like, actually he's dead. So like, let's have him give a big flamboyantly gay villain speech, and then Mashadar grabs him while he's talking. Like Samuel L. Jackson in Deep Blue Sea. Have y'all seen that?
Oh, yes.
No.
Yeah.
It's funny. That's literally what I was picturing. That's what pops into my head.
Isn't LL Cool J also in that?
Yeah, he's the chef.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the chef that raps.
Yeah. It was like one of the few horror movies where a black man makes it to the end without dying.
Yeah.
So it's always, LL Cool J's always stuck up my head. Anyways, Samuel L. Jackson's giving this like...
It's delightful.
I love him in that movie.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson's giving this big inspirational speech about how everybody else in the situation is dumb. And then the shark just pops out and eats him. Which is so...
It's great. It's fantastic.
That should happen with Sammael.
Yeah. I'm 100% on board with that. And I feel like it would be fitting. It's fitting for Sammael.
And with the difference between the TV show and the books regarding Mashadar, it makes actually easier for the death scene to be obvious.
Mm-hmm.
If he's still among the Forsaken who stay and he still die in the second scene, which are big, big, big if already.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kat and Camille have a different cool take on Sammael.
Yeah, so I thought about that. I think it was last week when we were considering what to do for this episode, and we were talking which Forsaken we could queer. We mentioned Sammael, and Kat mentioned that the only thing they knew about Sammael was that he was short, which he was not. But like this obsession with height, his own height, and also with his obsession with masculinity, I think could fit with some toxic masculinities that we can see in some trans men, because it's like you overcompensate in order to fit more among the gender you are. Yeah. And I don't know, I think it would be interesting because so far we have been querying Forsaken by making them gay or bisexual, but we haven't really thought about a trans Forsaken, and I think would be like an interesting idea. Yeah. And there was a few saying like, yes, there's this relationship to his own masculinity and other people's masculinities that maybe could be related to him being trans, but there's also like, on his wiki page, it's mentioned that Sammael learns of his ability to channel during the War of Power. So I don't know how old he was when the War of Power started, but if he was like no more a teenager and already an adult, that sounds pretty late.
Right. It sounds like he wasn't born with the spark.
No. Yeah. It seems like it just... Yeah.
Yeah, which could be like, you know... If he discovers his transness a bit late, that could be something, because maybe he was tested for Saida when he was a teenager, and nothing showed up because he was not a woman. And many, many years later, after he's done his transition, like the War of Power happened, and there's a war going on, so you can easily find triggers to make the power necessary, and finally figure out that no, okay, he didn't have access to Saida because he has access to Saidin.
I'm so on board with this idea. The more I thought it, as soon as when you brought it up last week to me, I was like, oh yeah, this works. And I think too with he strikes me as someone who's deeply insecure. Like there's a lot of insecurity that surrounds him, and I think that would fit well. That would fit well too. With him, and I just really like, and I agree, like we've been playing a lot with bisexuality and like queer or gay or whatever, but we haven't really done any trans people, and I think he would fit very well with this. Do this, Rafe.
And the insecurity feels also a lot with the toxic masculinity. So
I will say, I think it's really, really interesting how it specifically mentions that he was very good with defensive stuff, because we often see all of the male Aes Sedai or anybody using Saidin being like fire and blood. And I'm curious, I've never thought about the one power specifically being used for defense. Just because we don't really see that much in the books, but it would be interesting to see how he like just pulls up earth from the ground and is like, LOL wall.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, and it makes a point to specify that too. And so like it sounds like it's something that's not super common.
Yeah.
Like it's not something you see all the time, and like I don't know, the more I thought about him, it just feels like he shouldn't have gone to the dark. Like it's like, because he was like, the way his story starts is like he wanted to be commander of the forces of the light, and that was his goal. Like that was something that he wanted, and you don't necessarily get that impression from the other Forsaken.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it just feels like there was a wrong turn somewhere with him, and I don't know. Like he
just wasn't raised right. His mother didn't love him enough, much like Asmodean.
He had no home training, no house training. Yeah.
What I'm always curious about regarding the Forsaken is that, I mean, if you're fighting for the light for so long, you don't suddenly decide to go to the dark. So I'm like, because when you're looking at wiki pages, you feel like there's a definite moment where they switch. For example, for Sammael, it's when he
doesn't get a job.
No, there's that, but like the real time where he betrays the light is when he betray one city, I think, and let the shadow, like,
oh yes,
let the shadow spawn get into that city. But like before, how long does it take to actually corrupt the Forsaken? Because I feel like before taking the decision of, oh, I'm going to join the shadow, there must be something, there must be some attempt at, like,
there's got to be, yeah.
It's basically like when, like, if the shadow seeing all of those great channeler and being like, I'm going to try to trigger you so you can join me.
Well, I mean, I'm wondering, he could have also like been turned. That would have been interesting.
He could have been, yeah.
I mean,
that would have been interesting.
They would have mentioned it, obviously, but
they would have, yes, yeah.
I think it would be interesting if they turned him, just because that was always like a vague threat in the series. You never really saw it. If they maybe upped it and showed that he used to be all great and everything, and then they were like, LOL, bam.
Yeah,
I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
So, because turning someone, we do see that during the plot with the Black Tower, but the thing is that we see that for a very short time. Like, we don't... Those people are being turned and they're freaking asshole, but they've been turned like for a few weeks at most.
Yeah.
We don't really know, or on a longer term, like after many, many years of being turned, how that affects...
Right.
How much of a different person you are. Are you still as good of a channeler? Are you almost a zombie of yourself, or just a shadow of it? Or I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't really thought of that before.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. Not fascinating. It's funny that Sammael is like both of these different takes on Sammael make him more interesting than he actually was.
Yeah.
I mean, no one really remembers Sammael or what he's known for except being short, and he's actually not short. So if the one thing you're remembered for is actually not true, that's kind of which is actually ironically funny because his ego is so big. But there's 13 Forsaken. When you're dealing with 13 villains plus dark friends plus other evil characters, that's a lot to keep track of. I don't begrudge Robert Jordan that at all. That's a lot to keep track of.
It's actually very interesting because when you look at when Sammael appears and when it becomes relevant again, so you heard about him for the first time in book 3 when they get into Ilion and find out that it's basically the first Forsaken they know is in charge of a town.
Yeah.
You have some, like, because of some rumors from other character, you have some suspicion about Tyr, but this is the first time we get the confirmation that there's a Forsaken in charge in Ilion. And there's, I think it's in book 5 or 6 or something like that, where Sammael gets mentioned for a long time, and Brand keeps talking about going to Ilian to go back to that dawn, and then it takes...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost as if the plot gets forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's Sammael is being ramped up as a big threat. It ends up not being the threat of those specific books, because it's like what happened is that Dumas fail, especially for book 6.
Right.
And then we kind of forget about him for a long time. And how long after that do we finally go to Ilian? And it's kind of like a sudden decision to go there. And it's like, yeah, it's his story arc is very weird when you just look at Sammael's story arc.
Yeah, it is. It's odd. It's obvious as the story, it's like as the series goes on, it's obvious that there's a lot happening. And I'm sure it was very overwhelming for Robert Jordan, for poor Robert Jordan, with all of these different plot threads and all of these different characters to keep track of. And I'm not surprised that there were some things that fell sort of fell by the side.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate though, because I feel like there's Sammael could have had a lot more meat to his story, because I think the potential is there for him to be really interesting. The more I think about him, the more I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. I'm gonna have to pay more attention to him on my rereads now.
Yeah.
I thought we could do a quick game because it's one that we haven't done before. Well, I'm sorry, that's a lie. We've done it a lot, but with different characters. With the show characters, we can play Igluban Balefire. Like just the show versions.
Oh,
so
okay.
Oh,
okay. I don't think we've done a show only.
We haven't.
Okay.
No.
So just to make it very difficult, specifically for Kat, I was going to choose, fuck your drag, right?
Seriously?
I'm going to choose Rosamund Pike as Moraine, Zoe Robbins as Nynaeve, and then, oh boy, Sophie Okonedo as Suan.
Ooh. Oh man. I'm sorry, Kat.
For Igluban Balefire.
I am sorry, Kat. Nynaeve is gonna get Balefire.
I know you're sick and everything, but I just wanted to...
Why would you do this to me when I'm in a weak moment right now? Why would you do this to me, James? What have I done to deserve this?
I don't know.
Should I start while Kat contemplates their life choices?
I already have mine.
Yeah, I have mine too.
No, I just want to... I want to get it over quick. Okay.
Poor Kat. Oh, lordy.
Oh no. Okay, so I would to get it out of the way, and I know that this is going to sound very out in left field for me, I would Balefire Zoe Robbins as Nynaeve.
Oh.
What?
Oof.
Because
I cannot believe that.
This is the thing. Okay? Listen, this is my reason. Okay?
Oh, I'm savoring the pain.
I know it sounds like I'm crying, it's just that my voice is starting to give out.
And you're almost a bit crying too.
maybe
you can say it, it's also fine.
Yeah. Okay, maybe a bit of both. My reasoning for this is purely from a physical standpoint. It's because...
Maybe I went too far, guys.
Is it because she's black?
No! It's because I would, out of all of them, if I'm going to igloo someone, it would be Sophie Okonedo. And if I'm going to marry someone, as Sophie Okonedo as Swan, and if I'm going to marry someone, it would be Rosamund Pike as Moraine.
Mm-hmm.
And that leaves the love of my life, Nynaeve.
But she's the love of your life. Why don't you marry her?
I know.
You should marry the love of your life.
The saver.
Kimmy, I don't know.
Camille is more distraught about this than you are.
The saver.
I am shocked.
Why would you do this to me? Because I can't kill Rosamund Pike.
This is changing my opinions about yourself so much, Kat.
I can't kill Rosamund Pike Listen,
I mean, she died in plenty of movies, so that's fine.
she did. It's true.
She also dies in book 5, so.
She cared a lot.
That she cared a lot. Yeah. This is the thing, because wait, okay. I need clarification because this may change something, and I'm sorry this is taking more time than it should, but I need clarification. Are we talking about the actresses themselves, or are we talking about the actresses as they play their characters?
We're talking about the actresses as they play their characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I will amend my answer. And I will do a swap-a-rooney with Rosamund Pike and Nynaeve and Zoe Robbins as Nynaeve.
Okay.
I will do a swap-a-rooney. Yes.
So you're belfrying Moraine. That makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah. I may have misunderstood the rules. I thought we were talking about the actresses themselves.
Yeah, no, we don't play that kind of game.
That's what I figured. That's why I was like,
Sorry, Zoe Robbins. Fuck your drag.
All of this agony has really re-energized me after my run.
I know. I can tell. I can see Matt growing stronger and stronger the more I talk about this.
The more you suffered.
The more that I suffer, yeah.
And you know that y'all can't turn it around on me, because if you gave me something similar, I would just take absolute glee in destroying one of my idols, so...
I know.
Oh, yeah, no. This was specifically for Kat.
Yeah, thank you for that.
I will go next. I would balefire Nynaeve, because, I mean, no offense, I love Nynaeve, and I love Zoe Robbins, and I love Zoe Robbins' Nynaeve, but when you're up against two queens, like, and you know, maybe it could change down the line, you know, maybe season 7 Nynaeve would be different, but anyways, I would igloo Sophie's Swan, because that would be you know, assuming that I, you know, went for women, which I don't. But that would be a hot night.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Swan in all iterations is a little high maintenance, and I don't do that. We ain't gonna do that. We're not gonna go there. And Rosamund Pike as Moraine, I would bond because I would follow both Moraine and Rosamund Pike anywhere they led me. It would be better. It would be a more enthusiastic bond if they allowed Rosamund to make Moraine into the little chaos gremlin that Rosamund is. But she has to behave. So that's my answer.
It's a good answer. Camille, you look perplexed.
Because at first I thought that the solution was easy. And now I'm like, yes, but what if?
The more you think of it. Exactly. I know.
Okay, I'll go to give you a little bit more time.
But I'm going to change my mind again.
Oh my god.
Bitch, just do it.
Just go, Camille.
Just go.
No, go.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna slap one of y'all.
I will balefire Sophia Canedo as Suan just because I don't think she's done that much. And I don't think she's as integral to the story as the other two.
Fuck you.
Kat just took off her headphones. She refuses to listen. She says no.
I say no.
Rosamund Pike as Moraine being integral to the story, I would have a night with but I don't want to be dragged around in that mess because that's a lot for me. That just seems like a lot.
That's a valid answer.
And then I would bond Nynaeve because I think we would be two boss bitches that get shit done. Unlike Suan, who doesn't get anything done. So
I love the agony on Kat and Camille's face right now.
So, okay, my first idea was to balefire Nynaeve, to igloo Moraine, and to bond Swan.
Balefire them all.
I think the bond Swan is gonna stick because can it be bonding, but I'm the warder and she's the Aes Sedai?
Of course. Pick anything you want.
Yeah.
Whichever causes you the most pain.
Oh my god, Matt, calm down.
She deserves a better warder than the dirty laundry spanker. So
yes.
So I volunteer as a tribute.
I volunteer as tribute. Yeah.
Yes, tributes.
And then I was like, yeah, igloo Moraine and balefire Nynaeve. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I like Moraine.
It's hard.
But I don't know. So maybe I'm just gonna igloo Nynaeve and Belfire Moraine.
Yeah.
I loved this game.
Yeah.
You know what? You know in those what I can't remember what video game it is where it's like this person will remember this.
Life is Strange.
Is it like The Last of Us? Life is Strange.
Amazing game.
That happened for me when James said that horrendous thing.
This action will have consequences.
Yes.
I feel like I've eaten an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah. Matt is loving this.
The reason I don't want to igloo Moraine is that I kind of have a net canon of her that she's more like Demi than like she's more in the ace spectrums.
Okay.
Which means that for a hookup,
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be her thing.
So out of respect for her, you don't want to do it,
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I would Belfire her instead.
right?
So you'll kill her instead.
But meanwhile, I'm sure I could have a very hot like hookup with Nynaeve.
Yeah.
I could never bond Moraine.
Mhm.
That is so much work. I do not have the endurance of Lan.
Yeah, bonding Swan is a lot easier, honestly.
You just sit there.
Out of the two, listen.
Not just sitting there, because at some point she travels a little bit, but like she just needs someone to support her, and that's it.
Easy to support someone from the grave.
If Moraine bonded me, that would mean that I would also share a bond with Daniel Henney.
Well, Lan as Daniel Henney as Lan.
Well, with Lan. Daniel Henney is Lan.
Yeah, stop being weird.
Bitch, Daniel Henney's a Daniel Henney. I don't care what he call himself in the fake world.
In the fake world. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Queers of Time podcast. If you liked our show, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Queers of Time, as well as our Discord server. If you're able, we would love to have your support through Patreon. We give a lot of nice benefits there, and it helps us cover the costs of producing the podcast. Also, you get a shiny sticker. Thank you. I'm not sorry for what I did, Kat.
I know you're not, and that makes it worse. That makes it so much worse.
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.